Still not saying it's live on mine.
I can see. Yeah, okay, people are seeing us.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Only took us 15 minutes to figure it out.
All crashes.
Okay.
So, hello. That's Antonina and Diana. We are here because we think, well, we're trying to grow the community of documentary family photography, the genre in the UK, and shout about it a bit more, because there's some amazing, talented photographers within the UK and Europe, and it's not well known about at the moment. So we're trying to shout about everybody who's really great, and our first person we're going to shout about is Diana. So at the end of these interviews is to chat to some lovely people and find out a little bit more about the person behind the lens, because we often see, we all see lots of people's photographs and things, but we don't get to chat to people very often. So anyway, so we're starting out with our lovely friend Diana as a guinea pig, because she's really lovely. She's a UK family documentary photographer, excuse me, a self-portrait artist, a freelancing artist. It's a long title, Diana, and also a fabulous community builder in the field in Britain. She gets all sorts of people together all the time, and she's just won one of the Portrait of Britain 2020 prizes as well. So she's a very super cool girl. So Diana, I can't hear you, Diana.
Yes.
Oh, you are there.
I was waiting for your introduction.
Being really modest.
Thank you. Yes, keep quiet.
Talking. Anyway.
Yes.
Right, so Antonina, do you want to start off with some questions?
Yeah, so Diana is our guinea pig. So we have a bunch of questions for you. We'll try and kind of take it as a conversation, maybe, hopefully. Let me just go into my questions because I had to restart my computer. Okay, so an easy question, maybe not. Easy first question is, what was your first camera and how did you get it? Do you remember?
Okay, so I should say hi everyone.
Yeah.
Today, thank you guys. Yeah, nice to have a chat with you guys. First off, cameras. So I have a D750. I shoot with a D750, and I have two bodies, and I now acquired a new lens. And yeah, because I'm also a family and a wedding photographer, so I thought I'd better have a backup. I think actually for family work, I should always have a backup as well. But yeah, I shoot with a D750. For a long time, I was 24-70. That's kind of now retired, and I have 3 primes. 28, 85, and 50 for my freelancing, and I've just got 35 over the weekend. Yeah.
Was that your first, like, did you start with this camera, or was it something else that you shot with first?
I shot with D3 3300. Okay. Yeah, that's a Nikon. So I shoot with Nikon, and yeah, I started with that. My husband didn't think I would get into photography seriously, so, and I didn't think so either. So I didn't think of getting a full frame, but here we are today.
Yay!
Yeah. And I got the 85 and the 35, obviously 35 only this weekend, but this year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Which one do you like shooting with most?
Probably, I'm a wide angle person, so probably 28. I haven't actually shot a lot with my 85, with the 85. And I only just got the 35. So
85 is kind of, would imagine that's really good for weddings, but not quite so much for family work. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's quite useful for outdoors, and particularly in this climate. Yeah.
because the houses in Britain are so small. You see I don't know, see a picture on the wall and nothing else when you're in a room over here.
Yeah.
Um,
But
you've never been tempted to jump ship from Nikon?
I don't think I can afford to move everything at the moment. So yeah, I was thinking, you know, it's like I've only just brought a lens, and it's like everyone's moving over to mirrorless, and it's like, why am I getting a new lens? You know, then it's like, oh, I'm really tired now. But yeah,
it is tricky when you have when you've shot with a certain system for a while. It is really, really tricky to switch, isn't it?
Yeah, and as I told you, I'm not very technical, so it takes me a while to learn things, and I still don't really fully know my D750. A lot of my photography is winging it.
Don't say that.
Winging it with the camera.
No, I'm with Diana. I wing it all the time.
So just obviously you talked a little bit about your first camera and when you got it. When did you get it? How long have you? When did you first get your D3300?
That was almost 5 years ago now. Hard to believe that. Amazing. Yeah, I think end of 2015.
And then you did a 365.
So it would be. Sorry?
You did a 365 then, yeah?
Yes, yeah, because I sort of know you from back then, and yeah, I had it for about a year before I changed over, and yeah,
I got the next camera.
Mm.
Okay, so what I was going to ask you next was, can you, and that sort of links into what you just said, that you've been doing this for 5 years, is just to talk a little bit about your journey as a photographer and how you ended up getting into the family documentary genre.
Yeah. Oh, the long or the short?
Long one. Long one is okay.
I know. I won't bore everyone. But, so yeah, I mean, I've always wanted a digital SLR, and finally got one in 2015, end of 2015, and at that time probably Instagram was quite huge, lots of people doing 365s, and I kind of went straight into doing 365 with the 3300, and yeah, it was just fun to shoot. At the time I had my youngest with me, so obviously most of those photographs were of him, and I shared them on Instagram, and yeah, it's then I kind of just thought, I saw these cool people doing photography as a profession. I got warned, I think it was you, Emma, that warned me, don't do it as a profession. It's hard work. And then I thought I'd give it a go. And I've always, I went straight into doing documentary family photography, and that was
Straight away you started in that genre, yeah?
Yes, I started straight off in documentary, in the documentary family genre. I'm trying to think about.
I think that was because of the way that you were shooting your family. That's what, it was a natural inclination to shoot in that way, and so you just continued in that vein for clients.
Yes, so I mean, I've always been sort of, I don't know, photographing sort of bits of life, basically, from, as long as I can remember having a camera. I was quite lucky in terms of my dad used to photograph us as kids quite a lot, myself and my brother, and and we sort of, and I was actually looking at some family albums the other day, And a lot of them, I thought they were more documentary family, but a lot of them were, you know, oh, everyone just get together, smile at the camera, like that. But the setting was in just, you know, everyday bits of home, you know, different rooms within our homes, our family trip outings, car boot sales, which my family did a lot, things like that. And because, so I'm originally from Hong Kong. I was born in Hong Kong, brought up in the UK, and I have lots of family in Hong Kong. And my dad probably printed those, back in those days, it was all shot on film. So he just printed, you know, the prints, and probably sent some over to my grandparents in particular, so that they could see what, you know, what the grandkids were doing, or what the family were doing. And I have stacks of photo albums of so there were more snapshots, I would say. Looking at them now, you know, you have this sort of idyllic thing of, you know, your parent being this, you know, hero, kind of like, ooh, they shot your family life. And then I look at them, and actually a lot of them were probably family portraits, kind of.
Yeah, it's true actually, because you have a memory of things, don't you? And it gets unclear as the older you get, the less clear the memories are, and a lot of them are attached to photographs, I think. But it's funny how you remember the photographs, and then if you actually go back and look at them, they're not what you remember. You slightly change it as time goes on in your head. And it's true, a lot of them, they're unposed portraits in a natural setting. So it's the same for art, you know. So I think obviously when they're taking pictures, they're saying, oh, smile at the camera, and so everyone turns around and smiles at the camera. So yeah, it sounds really similar to the type of photographs in our family albums as well.
Yeah, there were probably a lot of grumpy kids photos as well. But
environmental portraits, remember environmental portraits?
Yeah. They're cool environmental portraits now. Give something a label and it really elevates it straight away, doesn't it?
But yeah, it was basically that. And so I sort of always thought, you know, had not documentary family photography, but basically documenting life. I mean, what I saw in those photographs was that although they were more snapshots or environmental portraits, they were just basically this curiosity for life. Everything seemed to, you know, I was looking at this photograph of just a bathroom with blue tiles and everything, you know, we'll be aghast at, but there's nobody in there. It's just, yeah, it's those details that obviously was something unusual or something to remember.
It's interesting as well because they're shot on film. Like, I mean, I don't think our parents were particularly thinking about, oh, I'm going to do a detail shot of the bathroom or this, that, and the other. Sometimes they're accidental shots. You know how you accidentally press a button? Yeah. Whereas on film, that's like permanently recorded and printed along with all the other pictures. But perhaps nowadays people might delete that sort of thing. But actually looking back on your own family images, even the strangest things make you nostalgic and take you back, like that sort of thing. You know, I can remember my granny's kitchen so well, that the clothes hanger hanging above the breakfast table, and the certain cups and saucers and things that would always be in the rack next to the sink, and the silly ladders that she used to climb up to get to the high, you know, and fall off often as well, you know, and those sort of things. It's just lovely to look back on, because you, like I said, you have a certain memory of it, but that gets clouded and changed through time, and to look back at the pictures and see it for real is just, you know, it has a real time machine element. Yeah. It actually takes you.
I wonder, Diana, so with your your childhood pictures, was it just you and your brother, or were your parents in the pictures sometimes as well?
Mainly obviously my dad was the one mainly taking the pictures, so he wasn't really in the pictures. And that's obviously, set off also. Another thing for me was, I spent a lot of family holidays looking through those family albums. So a lot of my memory is actually slightly blended in with whether it's in the photo or with my own memory of it, my own feeling from it. And I was quite conscious that I was quite aware that my dad wasn't in the photos, a lot of those photos, or if they were, yes, there weren't really candid photos of him doing things with us, because it's mainly just a portrait.
There's always a picture taker in the family, isn't there, as well? The sort of family, the nominated photographer, and they're often less visible in the record.
Yes. And that's really just really influenced how I. So he was, that's how I really got into sort of photography, and also how I shoot. I didn't think about whether it was documentary or anything. I can't even remember how I got into. Well, actually, no, I can, in terms of when I was looking for photography for myself. I was always looking for the natural style, almost natural reportage, and I came across this photographer, a wedding photographer in Norfolk, and he was a documentary wedding photographer. And that's how I came across the term documentary. But it wasn't documentary family photography, but it was that's how I started out, not really knowing that there was this documentary family community, but just thought.
It has a name. I remember my revelation was, this thing has a name, like this thing that I really like doing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you suddenly, I've been swimming around thinking, it's not quite me. This isn't me. Where do I fit? Do I fit? Are you supposed to fit? Do you have to fit into something? And then, it was like everything suddenly made sense when you said, maybe we all do need to fit into a box somehow and makes us feel safe. But it did feel quite comforting to know that I wasn't the only person when I discovered the term, and that there was a community of people doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's really good as well to have that type of thing, because it's like with anything, with sport, if you're growing up with other talented sportsmen that challenge you, that pushes you to get better. And I think, if you're in a community with lots of other people, you're getting ideas, you're seeing how other people do things, and it pushes you further to do more things. So it's really good to have. So it is good to find that, not necessarily pigeonholing yourself into a box, because you can all do other things as well. But I think it's nice to have that that element, not competition, but that community feeling to push each other forward.
Yeah, so it was like moving it over from, say, my own family photos and feeling those are documentary family photography in a way, and I still believe so, but doing it in a commercial sense is that it's elevated. There's this whole new sort of art, but that's the sort of, that's what I'm discovering.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, sorry Emma, that obviously you started as a 365 project, and then started documenting other people's families. How do you think that impacts on how do you think your personal work, like personal family documentation, does it impact your family, like working with actual clients?
I got, yeah, that's something I think I'm slowly sort of feeling a sort of comfort. I definitely feel that obviously, I think we've talked about this before, just as, is that when we're shooting our children, we know they're in and outs, we're confident. You know, I've photographed them so many times that you know, it's just fun to get different perspectives. With client work, you've got a short amount of time. You don't know what their previous family albums are like, or what family photos they have. So you're quite conscious that, you know, whether sort of taking those risks or missing out certain bits. So yeah, that's something that I'm finding in the client world to what I'm photographing with my everyday life. But also at the same time, I photograph so many different. There's only so much, you know, that it's nice to have the client work and yeah, kind of learn about the dynamics and understanding people. It's really about that for me.
I really like about client work is because obviously when you're photographing your own family, the dynamic is slightly different because it's you're taken out of the picture and you're photographing it, and I love having that dynamic in a photographing a whole family where there isn't somebody removed from the situation. It's a really different perspective because I know, like, you know, when I'm observing my own kids and family, and I think if I was actually in the moment interacting with them, it would actually look quite different. You're removing yourself from the moment to take a picture and becoming an observer rather than an active participant. I really like that with client work. It becomes more dynamic, I think, because you've got that extra element of interaction.
But also I find it more difficult sometimes when you obviously with my personal work is just one child all the time. So then to go from that to photographing a family of 5, it's a whole new layer of complication when you have to be mindful of all the dynamics, of all the interactions, and it's not something that you can practice that much in your daily life. So it's really interesting for sure. But to what Diana, you said, like with your own children, you know exactly what they're going to do pretty much, right? At every moment in time. And with the clients, you have no idea. You can anticipate certain things. But it is a lot trickier for sure.
I think to do this, you have to be very curious person. And yeah, I find it as, it's kind of like a little challenge. And I see it as a fun challenge to learn about people in a very short space of time. It's like when you meet people for the first time and you're having a conversation, you don't know, sort of, you're, you know, navigating this, you know, the what's the word? I've forgotten what's the word, but and then you, yeah, over time you get comfortable, you sort of get out more information, and yeah, it's kind of, yeah, interesting.
It really appeals to people who are slightly nosy and people watchery types, because you know, like be Robert Doisneau and sit in a French cafe and just observe lovers passing in the street, you know, be wonderful. But obviously we can't all do that. So kind of transport that to actually going to see families and be really nosy and
it's really nice to like be in people's homes, isn't it?
But you know, just it's one of the things I really love about going into other homes is the unexpected nature of it, where there's nothing planned in advance. You can't test the light what the light's going to be like in advance. You can't test anything. You don't know what you're going to get, and so you really have to work and think on the spot. So really pushes you photographically and your sort of skills and your thinking and being able to process things quickly.
Yeah, I love the spontaneous nature.
Yeah.
Of this genre. I mean, yeah.
I'm really chatty, so when I'm there, I'm kind of chatting, and I think it distracts people, so they forget that I'm there. But I think, I don't know. Do you chat a lot when you're with families, or are you quite quiet when you're there?
That's a question for me, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry. I say I'm a bit of both. Yeah, I naturally, I mean, it's easier if I cannot do that, if I don't be chatty, because there's so many million things I'm trying to sort of work out, sort of the, not just the technical stuff, but also, you know, the best place to put myself and everything, or positions, and what is it that, you know, looking out for the moments and everything. And yeah, but obviously, you know, you get the best from when people are comfortable, and I think it's good to, you know, have conversations. I mean, I did probably start out, when I first started out, it's like, oh, I'm going to be this fly on the wall type, not necessarily step back, but just really quiet. And I think that kind of makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable doing that. And
I think the more you talk, the more they forget that you're a photographer. Well, not talk, you don't have to talk all the time, but it feels less natural to have someone really quiet that you don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, when you're getting to know people, you know, I don't really like silence, you know. Well, I like silence, but not in a way that when you're with other people or with strangers, you know, it's a bit uncomfortable. It's, you know, I like making friends with people. So yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, just it makes it easier for me as well, to feel that, you know, there's this informality to it, which
I've always found that, you know, being quiet doesn't work. But actually, I just chuckled because Emily just commented saying, I used to be totally quiet and a fly on the wall, but one session last year, a kid said, "Mummy, she's being creepy."
yeah.
Which is, yeah, basically sums it up.
Yeah.
I always think, oh God, they must think I'm really completely potty, because I'll be chattering away and like take pictures, and then something will happen. I'll go, oh, sorry, see you later, and I'll run off.
I do that. I actually warn them in advance and say, like, especially if we're sort of maybe out somewhere in the city, I said we might be walking and having a really nice conversation with you guys, and then I'll just run off mid-sentence.
Yes.
So like nowadays as well, I literally go in my PE gear. I go in like leggings, whatever. It's like I'm going to go for a jog or a run or a fitness class. So I realised that actually that's the best thing to wear. It doesn't get, if it gets wet, it dries quickly. I can lie down on the floor. Nothing sticks to it. It can get dirty and the mud runs off. It's really flexible, and I can climb and run. And it's like, I just so I have to warn people now. Oh yeah, just I'll come in my, I look like I'm going for a marathon. And it feels a bit like that as well. Like sometimes, like if you've done a long session, the next day it's like you've been on a marathon. So my body's aching. Or maybe that's just because I'm old, I don't know.
No, I definitely feel like that.
So, should we,
yeah, and it's like, do you want to?
So, because we've asked Diana to send us a couple of pictures. So we had, we asked her to show us which picture she's taken that she's most proud of, which is a really difficult question, because obviously when you've taken millions of pictures, it's really hard to pick one. So I'm just going to, she has managed to pick one. So, oh.
Yeah, it was really difficult, really stressful.
So I'm going to share the picture that she's chosen. Has that worked?
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
just.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll just waiting for the
Yeah.
live update.
Tell us about this picture, how you took it, why you're proud of it. What is it that you love about this?
Yeah. So apologies that it's. I know this is a real chat for real life photographers, and I ended up with a self-portrait, which isn't, a bit far from real life. But it's, yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult question, because I think what I found is that a lot of the pictures I make, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of what I've, whether they work out or not. I think that there's so much thought process, well, I do anyway, into creating the photo, into a lot of the photos, that at the end of the day, whether they work out or not, I'm proud of, I've made those photos. So it was a really difficult challenge to pick a photo for this, but as you already said, I do self-portraits, and I think, and I wanted to share that, because I think it's that it helped me change the way that I saw myself as a photographer. So this photo was taken 2 years ago, 2018 now. It was actually done for the slow photography movement, which Laura sees. It was for a colour challenge, hence why there's bits of colour in it. And I had done self-portraits at that point around 18 months, maybe less than that. And I'm proud of this photo, because this is the first photo that I incorporated things. I'm not, well, I try and stick to the documentary genre. Obviously self-portraits aren't really, but in terms of my setup, it's very simple. It's the less, the simpler. The simpler, yeah. the less it is, the better, basically. And so it's as documentary as it gets. It's, oh, I thought of something, quickly take a shot, and that's it. Done and dusted. That's it.
Sometimes when you're doing this sort of shot, where it's a self-portrait, it's actually a really good way of trying out techniques that you wouldn't necessarily have the time to do if you were on a shoot, because or shooting documentary, because you're working with what's happening. So when you do self-portraits, there is an element of setup, which is actually a good way of testing and trying different things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I thought, I share, okay, I'll be brave and share a self-portrait, because this is the first time that I think I incorporated something. I had an idea and I tried it out, and this one particularly turned out. And so self-portraits for me is something that is more of a testing ideas, like you said. It's having a vision of something. And the interesting thing about self-portraits is that obviously I'm on the other side of the camera. I'm used to being behind the camera and seeing what I want to create. With self-portraits, you can't, but it's still on yourself. It's still you're still in the element of creation, but you're on the other side that you can't see. So there's a lot of trial and error. And it really sort of tests you as a photographer. It tests you, obviously, the emotional aspects of it. Just getting over the hurdle of being in front of the camera. But yeah, I love exploring feelings, and also it's being able to see ideas that you envisioned come to life. you know, it's that process, working with yourself. It's about, I think it's such a good thing, because it's about sort of letting go and taking risk and being brave, all of those things, and also understanding feelings that you can bring to, you know, any genre of photography, but particularly documentary family photography.
What do you think you were trying? Was there anything in particular you were trying to portray, or some feelings that you wanted to get across when you were taking this particular portrait? Or was it more about the colour and the motion?
Yeah, it was just more the colour for this one. I mean, some portraits are more a bit. I probably wasn't even feeling it. Most likely, I wasn't feeling it, in terms of I wasn't feeling like I really want to be in front of the camera. There's kind of like a little bit of hiding in there, but I'm not. Yeah, it's.
You look very serene, actually, in it, like serene amongst the chaos. It's
stillness among the chaos. But I find it really interesting that yes, we all have our own interpretations of, you know, photographs that we see, but also how, Diana, as you said, like how it something seemingly completely unrelated to documentary family photography can help you so much and inform you so much as an artist, and sort of give you training in unexpected ways that you can then apply in your client work, for example. And I think when you first start in a particular genre, like you tend to just do that thing all the time. Whereas certainly I found that it's really beneficial to try other things. So that's a really good example of how you can grow as an artist as well.
That's really true. That just because you call yourself a documentary family photographer or fine art photographer or whatever it might mean, doesn't mean you're not allowed to do something different. It's all learning, and you may stumble across something that really works for you, or you know, that sparks new ideas. And without trying different things and being curious, you won't discover anything new about yourself or your skill set.
Yeah, and I think when I mean, I'm not here to go and do self-portraits now, but
why not?
well, yes, do it, you know, and you know, I chat to anyone afterwards if they want to, just on that side. But it's also the thing about self-portraits is also that it's about telling a story, really, or to get it to not just to speak to viewers, but to yourself when you look back at your photos, is that what is it saying? And that's a good kind of training as well. For me, that I found is, you know, it's not just these materials flying here and fro, you know, and like you said, you know, you look at me and I look quite serene, you know, and it's sort of, it's not a mask, but it's trying to sort of get across that feeling, or get across, you know, and that's what you, when you're whether you're shooting, you know, another genre, documentary family photography, is that you're trying to capture a feeling, you know, rather than just documenting.
The interesting thing about photographs is you only see that one snapshot of the moment, don't you? You don't see what's going on behind it, so it allows the viewer to interpret it their way, and it might be telling a slightly different story to whoever is reading it, and no one else really knows the backstory of where things have come from to get to that point. So it's really interesting listening to different people talk about photos and what they see in them. You know, because we've got no idea what you're thinking in that moment, but what it comes across as to me is a real serenity and calmness. And I know you, so I feel like that's quite you as well. That you're this sort of pillar of calm.
I think I was just imagining. So I think I had this idea that what came to mind is these imagining Indian saris blowing, and it just feels like another world, you know, that feels very joyful and calm and fun, and yeah, that's, you know, slightly the feeling that I was probably thinking about in making this photograph. Yeah.
I'm just going to stop sharing it now.
Yeah. I also found that when someone mentioned about like doing these self-portraits, Alison wrote that perhaps doing these self-portraits helps in doing portraits of others. And I can see how that can help, because then you, even if you're creating sort of a found portrait in the field of a family or a child or whatever, you've trained your eye to kind of conceptualize a little bit almost ahead of time. So maybe in the field you're not posing as such, but you kind of see how you can get all the elements to meet together in a split second. Right?
Yeah, I mean, particularly in environmental portraits, is you're trying to capture the essence of that person. You're trying to tell the story of that person just through a single portrait. I'm not a portrait photographer, I would say. Self-portrait, yes. But yeah, there is, it does help the doing these self-portraits is that is to quickly sort of identify what it is through people's eyes, through people's expressions. I'm not looking for smiles. You know, bless you.
Poor Emma.
Yeah.
So I'm muting myself so you can't hear me.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
So
shall we talk, Emma, I wonder, shall we talk about freelancing a little bit? Not too much, but it's kind of relates to personal work as well.
You know, as I said at the beginning, two things that you do is alongside, you have three ongoing threads of work that you see sort of regularly coming up in your feeds, and what you talk about is that your documentary family work of clients in your own family and wedding work in the same vein, but also the self-portraits that you talked about and freelancing. So we're wondering a little bit about freelancing and how you got into that, and how that has changed you, whether you incorporate that in your client work.
Yeah. It's so, I hope it's okay to say this without sounding very pretentious, but I suppose I see myself more as an artist as well as a photographer. I enjoyed art. I enjoyed looking at art as a child, and particularly paintings. And I love particularly Impressionism work. And when I first came across freelancing, it's described as it gives a very painterly feel. And so it immediately connected with me. I mean, when you first start in photography and you start looking at other people and you see techniques being used, like prism. I know that prism and ring of fires were a very big thing when a few years back when I was looking at people's photos. But they never really sort of, I mean, I dabbled, but yeah, it's one of those things you have to try to see whether you like it. And I just didn't get on. I didn't see, it's funny because Kirsten says something like it's a trick. And well, freelancing is also probably considered a trick, but it's kind of like the old form of photography work. Well, freelancing is the equivalent to a tilt shift camera or a tilt shift lens, and you can just buy a tilt shift lens. So, you know, whether you have it attached on your camera, it's not really a trick because it exists, you know, as you know, it's always been around.
I think it really depends on how you use it. Like, it can become a trick when it's like you just do it at every time, and it's like a stamp. You put a stamp on it, that becomes a trick. But if you're using it in more artistic way with purpose, I don't think it necessarily is a trick.
Yeah. So but it captures a feeling. There's something very emotive about free lensing work. I found, you know, there's bokeh. Sorry, I always say that. Sorry. Now
As many ways as you can so that everyone understands.
Yeah, I say it in all different languages so that, yeah, different people can understand. Chinese. Bouquet.
Okay.
We get you.
You get me. So, yeah, that you can create with wide aperture. But it's very different.
I always feel like when using freelancing, it feels like a memory. I don't know. There's something about it that makes it feel like a dream. That has it has a completely different feel. That definitely, it adds emotion and dreamlike quality. It transports you to a type of place, more in your head than a physical memory.
Yeah, it's you know, it's got that hazy effect on it. And yeah, it's like an old photograph that's slightly faded.
Yeah.
I
Do you use client work at all?
Yes, I mean, I've started to, and actually I'm starting to get requests for them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so could you do it? And I didn't even think about doing it, but I'm just getting it, you know, starting to get requests for doing it in my work, which is really nice to be able, because, you know, I'm always like whether people understand it, and yeah, it's hard to describe it, that what it creates, but yeah, I think it's
Excellent.
doing a bit more.
Yeah, that's really interesting that how something like that can be used for client work and just do. But it's really interesting that people are starting to see that you're doing something different that not many people are actually doing, and actually asking for it, which is coming back to a point that it's always worth trying something different and sort of go in with your gut. And it's like, I like it. I don't care if it's like out there. I'm gonna do it.
If it feels right for you, then
yeah,
see where it goes.
Yeah.
So, should we ask another question?
Yeah. Oh, I think we have some fun ones coming up.
There's been some great questions.
Yeah, so we've got some silly questions now. Yeah. So what's your worst, so we're talking sort of photography habit here. What's your worst photography habit, whether it's something you do on a shoot or just a way that you use your camera, or anything to do with photography? Have you got any bad habits?
Bad habits. We'll start. Well, apart from, I don't know whether it's not really bad habit, but I always take off my shoes when I go into people's houses, you know, expecting to climb onto people's furniture or anything. I always feel a bit, you know, oh, do people mind? But at least I've taken my shoes off, it's fine. It's a very Chinese thing as well. You go into people's houses and you immediately take off shoes.
Well, it's a Russian thing too, Diana. It's not just Chinese. It's common sense.
Is it? Yeah.
I always ask if the table's safe to climb on as well, because I know that, some tables can be a bit rickety. I'm like, is it okay if I climb on here? just in case. I don't want to like kind of fall through something. I always need the toilet as well, all the time. You don't know that because I'm always going to the toilet. I'm paranoid. I go to the toilet about 15 times before I leave for a shoot, just that I don't have to go in the door. Maybe it's nerves, so I don't have to go in the door and say,
no, I always do that. I'm like, can you use the toilet?
first thing I say.
Yeah. But I think photography, like for me, I'm just thinking about what's my answer to this question. I do it less now with the Sony because you see what you're getting as you adjust in the settings. But with Canon, I used to chimp so much, looking at the screen. And
You're busy looking at what you've taken that you miss the moment.
Exactly, that's what I was getting at. Like I would chimp so much that I would miss the moment.
There's nothing more annoying than knowing that you've made yourself miss a moment.
Yep.
That is a bad habit that I do. I mean, at the moment I'm slightly changing my photography technique in terms of I'm trying focus recompose, which I've always found difficult. It used to be like toggle. I'm toggling, and just lately I'm doing focus recompose.
I think especially if you're shooting on a narrow aperture, that can be quite successful.
Focus recompose, is it?
Yeah, I think if you're doing that sort of a shot where you've got lots of bokeh and you're using a really wide aperture, focus recompose, you can miss the focus.
Yeah.
A narrower aperture, you've got much more room for maneuver, so I think it can be quite a quick way of operating.
Right.
I think I used to do that, and I switched now to just toggling, or like with Sony just touching the screen. It's really lazy, isn't it?
That slightly annoys me on the Sony. I switched to Sony this year as well. It's the touching screen. If you're looking at it if you're photographing that way, that works fine. But if you're photographing the normal way, I can never work out how. I can't work out how to get the focus
joystick.
point.
Just joystick.
Do you just press the?
No, you just move it.
It's not on. How do you get it to appear? I need to have.
Or you need to go in the settings then.
It's really annoying.
Just like real here, people, getting real here.
If it's really sunny, and sometimes it's just not right, it doesn't feel the right moment to be looking at the screens as well. Sometimes I do want to look through the camera. But if it's really strong sun, I've gone through summer, you can't see the back of the screen.
No. I found actually because I've got really lazy with looking at the screen on a Sony, but then like if parents are behind me or the kids are behind me and they can see what's on the thing. Interesting. And I found that really like I need to then switch to looking through the viewfinder again because they see what I'm taking a picture of, and I don't want them to.
Yeah. I never know what to do when kids, or mainly kids, sometimes, oh, can I have a look at what you've taken? I'm like, I don't really want to.
No.
So you look through the live view, is it, on your Sony? What about you, Emma?
Bit of both, because like I said, if it's really bright, you can't see the screen. Well, I think you need some sort of visor. I can't remember what they're called, but something to cover it, because otherwise, the light, you know what it's like when you're looking.
Yeah, with the phone, it's the same.
It's really bright, you can't see well. But it gives you loads of flexibility. I was shooting with a Canon Mark IV, 5D Mark IV before, and it was relatively good. Already gave you the flexibility to shoot from the back of the screen. Just gives you, especially for someone small like me, it gives me much more elevation.
Yeah.
And you toggle, or do you?
With the back of the screen, you can. It's really good. You can touch focus.
So
you can pinpoint where you want it to focus. You toggling it's like toggling, but you're pressing and touching it.
Yeah.
Hang on a second, guys. Alison, can you? Alison asked a question about explaining something, but can you clarify what you wanted us to explain? I'm just keeping an eye on the questions there. I think it was to do with focus recompose. So it's when you achieve focus and then you move yourself along the same plane to change the composition.
Yeah.
But you've already like focused on something. and you're just changing. So you maybe center focus. So you focus as in the center. You focus in the center, but you don't obviously want everything to be in center composition, and then you just move it a little bit. Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to know, Alison?
Yeah, if that's that, then we've answered it.
Just because obviously if you're moving from the point that you focus, if it's a shallow depth of field, you can easily move so that the thing that you want to be in focus isn't.
So you can't like do it really too much, because then your focus will shift. You have to be like just moving along the same plane. Yeah.
If you're using a narrow aperture where more of it's in focus, that would be
and if you do back button focus as well, it helps lock that focus for you. But yeah, I do, because it's quite slow on the Nikon to toggle, but for a long time I've just toggled.
By the time you've toggled, it's like, oh, it's gone now.
Yes, yeah. So someone said, you know, you should try focus recompose, and although, you know, in the past I've tried it and I didn't get on with it, and I don't know, I'm obviously this is a funny year, and so I thought, oh, okay, I'll, you know, take a bit more risky and just slowly, you know, I'm finding it's actually slowing me down a lot, which I don't know whether it's a good thing. I mean, in a way, I want to. I
think you get like a you know, like a joystick or something. If you think about like how kids play computer games and their thumbs are like
yeah.
And I think we're obviously not playing computer games, but we're on our cameras going and actually you get so adept at that it's kind of muscle memory, isn't it? So if you're switching to a new technique or switching to a new camera and everything's a bit alien, it does slow you down for a while.
But I mean, in a way, it's good, because it's interesting that I'm, you know, it's slowing down to consider the moments rather than shooting everything, you know, toggling, chasing constantly. It feels like constant chasing. So yeah, I'm trying to get used to that, and yeah, and even changing slightly the aperture in the way I shoot. Yeah,
that's really interesting how a technique can change the way you shoot.
Question, what's the funniest thing that has happened to you on a shoot? So a client, commercial or family or wedding, whatever you want, anything, a client work.
Nothing laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. Oh no, it was on a different, it wasn't even family shoot or anything like that.
Maybe
no.
like the kids did something, or like it doesn't have to be you. That's okay if you don't have an answer.
I think yeah. I'm not very good at thinking of it, remembering things or these things on the spot, but yeah, if I think of something, I'll
just write in the thread. That'll be fun.
My mind has gone blank as well. I can't even give an example. So it's a bit mean to ask you, because I'm thinking,
yeah, well, I can give one that's recent that kind of stuck with me. Is I did a shoot, and it was fairly soon after lockdown was lifted, and I was shooting in a home. It was like a personal branding shoot, and we've included the client's daughter, who was like 4 or 5 or something, and she was out with her grandparents, and then she came in as we were sort of in the middle of a shoot, and she's like, "What's she doing here? Why is she allowed in our house?"
I had one before lockdown, which was quite funny. The family had a gecko, or one of the daughters had a lizard or a gecko or something like that. And I was like, "Oh wow, can I see it?" So we went up to her room and she got it out. It's really cute, and I was holding it, like they were holding it, was clambering all over them. And then I was like, "Oh, can I hold it?" So put my cameras down, was holding this little gecko, so cute, and he peed all over me.
That's funny.
And there was the mum and the 2 daughters and the dad was outside, and they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know he could wee. We've never seen that before." I've never seen so much water coming out of a tiny animal. It was like all over me.
You just scared the tiny animal, Emma, that it peed itself.
Stage fright. It's like, oh, there's a photographer here, you know, like a lot of like ugh. It's that. We don't. I don't like her. The gecko was the same. Oh, I don't like the photographer.
Okay, let's move on. The next question is: have you ever had a photo that you kind of talked about it? I think at the very beginning was there ever a situation where you tried so hard to get a photo, you had it in your head, but you just didn't work out?
Yeah, there are lots. I mean, I can't really think of on a client shoot. Yeah, because, well, there's probably lots of moments, and I've learned to let them go. You know, there must be either not hugely important, or it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. There's be other moments to capture. So I don't really kind of think, you know, I missed it. I mean, yeah, it's through not sort of busy toggling or something like that. Yeah, there's probably plenty of moments that I missed, but I'm learning to now think that there are so many moments, and it's good not to document everything. You know, feel like you've got to document everything. It's what you capture is what I capture is fine, and to make those the strongest moments, to make sure that they're the strongest moments, and to be ready for them. Because if you're constantly shooting all the time, you know, thinking, oh, every moment matters like that, then you're going to miss the moment that is the key moment, maybe.
It's a bit pimping if you're so busy. Yeah, you miss things.
Chasing it, running after it instead of just slowing down a little bit. And
Yeah.
I remember when I first started doing day in the lives, that was my first kind of inclination, is to just chase every single thing. Like I couldn't like put my camera down for a second. And then you just miss things, right? And it's not as strong.
You have to start accepting it anyway, because when you're doing a day in your life, it's not like you've got everybody around at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Then you pull down and realize actually
in the other room.
Yeah.
So you've got to focus on what's around you at that time. And so it depends on the moment as well, like or the thing you're trying to capture. Some things are just like something that just happens like that once. Or sometimes it's something repetitive, like if they're really playing, like if some kids are really playing with something, or playing on a trampoline or scootering or whatever is it, or eating at mealtime, whatever it is. Some things last for a lot longer time. You can start trying to make a better interpretation of what's going on. Other things, it's been and gone. You know, the child.
But I think it's good to know that everyone misses shots all the time, right?
The child fell over. You can't. You're not going to ask them to do that again, are you? You know, that can't happen again. Then work with it, and the moments that come after it, and the crying, and the comforting, and the how the parent loves the child and makes them, comforts them. But you can't get everything. It depends on.
But like remember when at the photography show last year, when Pete Souza was talking, I think we were sitting next to each other or something, and I asked a question whether he missed any shots of Obama, and he's like, no.
How to make you feel really small. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely to be able to say nope? I never.
Nope.
Is that one word answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Okay. Emma, do you want to ask the next one?
Have you tell us about your favourite family session that you've ever had and why it was your favourite? I hope it's my family, Diana.
I was going to say that. It is, yeah. I loved photographing your family. I think. I have to
say that now. I've said this. Don't worry, you don't have to.
Let's move. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, people I'm starting to get more repeat clients, and so they're more familiar with the way I shoot, and then it's you're able to do fun stuff, take different perspectives, and yeah, I haven't sort of done a huge amount of longer day sessions, but those are quite fun, where just like families kind of going, doing their, just going into their homes. I've just done one where I photographed in someone's home, and then we went off for a beach session, or and I captured someone, a family going wild swimming. And it's those things like, I've always been fascinated in wild swimming, and fascinated to the point that I don't actually do it, but just always, how does it work, and where can you go to do it, and and then be asked to be invited to go along and capture that.
That's
really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, it was a bummer that I didn't get to go in the water as well. That not personally swim, but I mean, to actually be able, because there were other groups of people there. It was a proper session and things like that. So I couldn't catch. It was quite far, and I didn't really quite have the lens. But it was just going along to those shoots. I always quite, like you said, is kind of a bit nosy, or just like, oh, you get to try, you get to see other people's bits of life that you always have fascination about. And then
I definitely have moments where I go into people's houses and I'm like, oh, I want to live in this house. So literally a few weeks ago, this was a repeat client of mine, and she booked a session with me just as it was coming to the end of lockdown, when we knew the date that it was going to finish, and she wanted a session because they'd got chickens over lockdown. Her youngest was turning 11, and she wanted to record this time. And I'd photographed her not long ago, last year sometime, and she said, oh, I better give you my new address, we've moved house. I'm like, oh, okay. And she said, just look out, it's kind of hard to find, you have to go up a lane, and it's the 1950s bungalow at the end of it. And I almost said, oh, have you bought it as a sort of renovation project? I was thinking she must be knocking it down or something, Anyway, got there. I'm really glad I didn't say that, because it was the most bloody fabulous house. The weirdest thing was, I turned around the corner, this house has been on TV, and I fell in love with it, and I knew it was in Hertfordshire, and I was like, God, I want to know where this house is. I Googled it, I looked everywhere. Bloody hell, drive around the corner, and there's this house. And they've just moved into this house, which is literally my dream home. I was like, I just pretended to live in there for a couple of hours while I was photographing. I know this woman, so I was joking around with her. But it was actually quite cool, because I actually got to go in the house that's my dream house. I had to leave again, so it wasn't quite so cool, but really amazing, so gorgeous. Can't wait to go back and deliver some prints, just so I can go in the house again.
Right. Moving on to, we kind of get into the end of it, which is really nice. We've kind of just over an hour. We thought we were going to go for 3 hours. But we want to wrap. Sorry?
It could be like a 20-minute thing, but we're really talkative, so sorry if we bored everybody.
No. But we would like to finish on talking about the photography inspirations. Who inspires you? Who is your current crush photographically? And also then we'll maybe end up with showing the picture that had the most impact on you as well.
My photography inspiration, my crushes. Yeah, actually, that question.
They do change, don't they? Because you discover new things all the time. So it's like, oh, my new photography crush is so and so, and you devour that person, and then it's like, okay, moving on to the next person. Sorry, I don't love you anymore. I love this person.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking this. I think Andrew asked this. I saw this in the group thing, and I was thinking, oh, who's my photography inspiration? I mean, I follow, I'd say my peers are my main inspiration. I have a large stack of photography book, and one of the things that I did during lockdown, I probably ended up spending more money on buying photography books that I still haven't had time to look through. And
you need to come and make sure you read one of them and come do a book review for us.
okay, when I eventually look through them. Yeah, so it's kind of more, yeah, I mean, I'm probably more like look through Instagram more than I look through photo books. And yeah, I mean, I don't really, in the documentary family world, there's so many, honestly. You two, you know, do amazing photography. And yeah, there are some definitely firm favorites that, you know, or I think, but basically I look at quite a lot of photographers. I follow a lot of photographers in different genres, and what I would say is that I try and not be influenced by any of them. So I don't know whether it's inspire, but it's more that these particular photographers, I found that they have a voice in their photos, and I'm always trying to or I like seeing how photographers communicate themselves rather than what I like to get out of it. Like people like Lauren Webster, Ben Heisman. Ben's a UK photographer. Rowena Meadows, and any other? Yeah, they're ones that I've been sort of seeing fairly recently, or over time, how their photographs have developed and their way of seeing is very different. I mean, very different to the way I see, and I think that's the beauty of it. Is that rather than try and, you know, take something. I mean, it's nice to, you know, try out things, but it's more about sort of seeing how people see and thinking, how do I see? How do I try to communicate through my photos in the way that those people communicate? Or rather than borrowing work, if that makes sense.
And trying to recreate something that somebody else has seen is never as effective if you try to emulate rather than work out what you want to say. Yeah,
so I just found it's very interesting in terms of, so many amazing documentary family photographers. I'm also sort of trying to doing a bit more personal project work, as meaning my own long form work, which always has this sort of stop start to it. And I'm interested, like, I see Felicia Chang's, Margaret Olbra. Sorry if Margaret is watching. Olbra.
You don't know how to pronounce his surname? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I love
Margaret.
It's pretty embarrassing getting names wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
We always read them, we never say them out loud. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Mine's really easy.
Yeah.
There's also about 500 other Emma Collinses who are photographers. So, rough with the smooth.
Yeah, there's something thoughtful and contemplative about their work and the way they think about their work or produce. Fascinating.
Shall we share the picture that you? How do I do that? So this is the this is the photo that you've chosen to share. That you have the. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is the photo that you've chosen that had the most impact on you. Why?
Yeah. Well, actually, we'll be sharing that, talking about this at the beginning, but
I don't know. We kind of ended up at the end because we started talking about family stuff and the family stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So this photo is actually, I shared this one. It's a Magnum photo. I don't know anybody. Do you recognise the photographer? I only labelled it as Magnum Photos.
Yeah, no, I know the photograph, but I don't actually know who the photographer is either. Let's see if I can find it.
I feel like I should know, and I probably do. But I'm just blanking out right now.
So
someone will say in the chat.
This is a photo by Henry Cartier-Bresson.
There we go. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Emily. Thank you, and thank you, Diana. Yeah.
It is Cartier-Bresson.
Yeah. Actually, this is, I suppose I said, I thought this might be at the beginning, is because I suppose I missed out the bit that when I got into getting my first DSLR, my 3300. So I was part of the camera club at the time. I'm not at the moment. And that's how I came across Henri Cartier-Bresson. And I remember this photo from it. And it was, I think he was the one that came up with the decisive moment. And it's that thing where we were saying at the beginning where, oh, there's a term for this type of photography, and suddenly it gives you permission to shoot. It's not like you didn't shoot like this before, and this was kind of like that for me with learning about Henry. I mean, obviously there's other elements as well of photographic elements that he's well known for on compositions, amazing composition here, and that sort of the reflection element and the double, yeah, just in the double elements in there. But yeah, decisive moment, when I heard that phrase, I suddenly thought, oh, that's what it's called. Because it's, yeah, I think I don't know, there's this, I suppose it had a big impact just because it gave kind of like a permission for something that I felt, you know, like
what I love about it is that it's completely anonymous, so it's street photography.
Yeah.
And it's also very imperfect, which and also I've seen this picture so many times, but only just noticed it on the poster behind. There's another leaping figure there.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so beautifully observed, and it really is like a piece of art, isn't it?
Mm.
All the shape.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at hundreds of his photos, and it's just more the philosophy of what he represents, or what he and that for me was more the sort of waiting for the moment, watching, observing, for elements to come together.
It's incredible how he's timed this shot, isn't it? It's amazing.
Considering it's all analog. Right.
Yeah.
There's no chimping going on.
There's
here.
no chimping. There's no like multiple exposures of the same.
That's why he doesn't miss the moment, because he's not chimping.
Yep.
There's a fun element to it.
Yeah.
Photo. And there's like, it's almost like, is that a lake? And then he's about to fall into the water. And it's that sort of like, it's almost, it doesn't have to be serious. I mean, it's street, it's photojournalism at the same time. It's
not the shape in
but
this
it
as
doesn't.
well. It's almost abstract with all the different shapes and how they're loaded together in layers. It's beautiful.
I think the poster at the back as well, and especially with, I don't know what that figure is in the poster.
Yeah,
It's like a circus performer or something.
That's
And
what I
there's
thought.
something
Yeah.
real circus-like about this
I just
photo.
said that. I don't know if you heard me, because I think we were talking over each other. There's something about this that has a real circus. It feels like circus, like it's quite joyful, even though it's like clearly quite industrial and wet and dour. There's something uplifting and fun about it, and circus-like.
Yeah.
So do you think, Diana, it's sort of given you permission to kind of just slow down, and it doesn't matter if it's perfectly focused image? I think maybe that's where freelancing comes in as well, because it allows you to be more imperfect.
No, I suppose it just describes the feeling that, I don't know whether you get it when you photograph, but when you see a moment coming together, and it's a moment that you sort of waited for, or you watch it about to appear, and then you click. So
you kind of know when you've got shots like that, because you I feel like I'm desperate to get to see it on the computer and to see if it's,
did I get it?
yeah,
Did I get it? Yeah.
And yeah, that was kind of like, yeah, to trust in that feeling. So that was that, really. I sometimes you get that feeling, and then you just, but you just, before, until I came across that term, it was like, oh, you don't know, you just felt it, and you didn't know what.
That it has a name.
Yeah, not it needed a name.
something like this as well, is that it is the decisive moment, but the planning that's gone into something like this beforehand, it's not set up, but he's scouted that spot and seen the potential and sat down and waited for the right thing to happen, and something amazing did happen to make it into something phenomenal, with the guy jumping in exactly the right place. But he's thought about waiting for the exact right thing, and sat and waited, and it does.
And also, it might not have happened. Like, that's, I always try and remind myself with all those amazing photographs that you see, that yes, they planned, yes, it came together, but there are hundreds of others, I'm sure, that didn't come together.
Yeah, there's one that I'm trying to think which great photographer it was. One in Greece with the white houses, and there's a priest walking by. I can't remember if it's someone like Cartier-Bresson or Diana or someone like that. And but it was, I remember reading about it, and that whole, as I just described, they'd sat and found the place and waited for something to happen. And I think as he was waiting, he said like 3 things happened, 3 people walked by, and this was the best one. So he got 3 shots in the 2 hours that they sat there. And whenever this particular moment happened, everything came together, and he got the memorable shot, which has gone on to be a famous.
Well, we have a comment from Emily, who is, first of all, she's saying there's a book review of Henri Cartier-Bresson coming up, but she says actually this particular one was set up. This shot was set up.
Interesting.
Most of his work isn't. Yeah. And then Emily knows everything about books and photographers. Is that you thinking Robert Capa?
Was that
for the priest photo?
Kappa, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this one was set up. We take everything back.
Very interesting.
But still, I mean, like, if you analyze the shot, there is a particular moment that it's not before he jumps, it's not after he jumps.
It's gorgeous. It makes me want to go out and do some street photography now.
Oh God, I miss going into London and photographing stuff.
I think, let me unshare that now.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else that we want to talk about before we finish? We've been going for an hour and a half.
Wow. Sorry, everybody.
I think we do need to finish that.
Yeah, I have to go and pick up my kids. Right. Thank you very much, Diana, for being our guinea pig. Hope it all worked and hope everyone's still there.
Yeah. It was fun. Thank you for bearing with us and like ambushing with questions.
Yeah.
No, some good and tricky questions.
Sorry.
Questions.
Sorry. I warn you what they're going to be. Maybe some of them. Okay, so we go now. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
stop the live, yeah, and then
How do I stop the live?
I have no idea. Oh, there you go.